All right, Shalom. I want to start out by giving all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Kahakwadash. Double honor to the Apostle Nelson Great Millstone. Peace and blessing to you, brothers, pushing this truth throughout the four winds. As you can see, this video is entitled Be Optimistic. And we live in a society, world, where everything is seen in a negative light. You know, everything is negative. It's like no one has hope. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like at the first sign of anything, this world has your mind in going into panic mode. Okay, so if you're in this truth, that should not be the mind frame. You know, you have to understand that we truly know the Creator. We ain't talking about no made up idol or God from a man-made religion. No, we're talking about we know Him. We know them. We know Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. We know Him. Okay? As prophesied that we would in the last days. Okay? So, even though it may seem like something kind of hard to do when you're put in really, really tough jams, always find Yahweh Bashem Yahushai first. Never let Him be the last option. You know, always find Him first. Seek His face, pray, and find Him first, and He's going to put you where you need to be. Okay? Be optimistic. And it's a definition of optimist. A person who is inclined to be hopeful and to expect good outcomes. Someone who is given to optimism. So when you're in a situation in life or something that you're striving for or whatever's going on, it's good to have a positive outlook. Okay? Not saying it's going to be easy to do, but gradually practice it. You know, always be or put the best form of being optimistic that you can. Apply that. All right? So, because if you look at it, you're going to feel some way regardless. You're going to feel some way regardless. You're going to feel bad, or you can say, you know what? Fuck it. Let me be optimistic. Not pessimistic. Let me be optimistic. So you can get a better understanding of seeing things clear when you're in situations. And to be optimistic almost seems like you're having faith. Okay? Anybody can believe in something when everything is going right. Anybody. When the ball's in your corner, in your court, of course you're going to be everything good and you're going to feel good. What about those times when you're on your ass? Are you going to be optimistic then? You know what I'm saying? You can't always just be in a certain mind frame when things are going your way. That makes you a hypocrite. You know? But I'm going to go through a few scenarios where we can see this trait. This is Romans 4:17. As it is written, I have made thee father of many nations, before him whom he believed, even the Most High, who quickeneth the dead, and calleth those which be not as though they were, who against hope believed in hope. Let me repeat that. Who against hope believed in hope. So when shit looked like shit, they still believed that he might become the father of many nations, according to that which was spoken, so shall thy seed be. And being not weak in faith, okay? Not being weak in faith, he considered not his own body now dead, when he was about 100 years old, neither yet in deadness of Sarah's womb, he staggered not at the promise of the Most High through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to the Most High, and being fully persuaded that what he had promised, he was able also to perform. Now tell me he wasn't being optimistic when everything looked like it was against him, going against the natural course and flow of what we're used to seeing in life. Sarah couldn't have children. The Most High said he was going to make it happen. What it say? Like he didn't stagger not a little at the promise, even though he knew that this isn't something that normally happens. But that's who we're dealing with here. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not a man that he should lie. Okay? So, if the Lord tells you can call on him and he's going to help you, that's what's going to happen. But you have to first plant the seed and believe that. You have to be in an optimistic mind state, having faith. Okay? No matter what it looks like, you got to hold on and believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's simple. This is 1 Samuel 1, and I'm going to start at 9. So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man-child, then I will give him to Yahweh Shem Yahushua all the days of his life. And there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before the Lord, that Eli marked her mouth. She was doing a lot of praying. Okay? Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. This woman was very, very in her faith. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered, Salaki. It says, let me see where I'm at. And Hannah answered and said, No, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunken neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken here too. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thine handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. So the constant prayer and being optimistic, like she prayed so much and believed so much that Eli thought she was drunk. That's the mind frame that she was in. Okay? And all of this is just to push forth, believe what you say you believe in. You know? These scriptures can be hidden away in your heart, and everything looks good until you have to truly believe in them. That's when you really see who's who. When you have to believe in these scriptures that you go out and push on a day-to-day basis and pray. And when things are going smooth, oh, you believe in them. It's heavy then. But let something catastrophic come along. Do you truly believe? Are you optimistic when all the chips are down? That's the most important time to believe. Because the Lord sees now, he's solid on this, on the forefront and on the back end. Esther, chapter 4. It says, Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, Think not with thyself that thou shalt escape the king's house more than all the Jews. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement of deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer, Go, gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maids will fast likewise. And so will I go into the king, which is not according to the law. If I perish, I perish. So Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther had commanded him. Now, look at that. She was willing to die and stand on the principles and morals of what she knew. That's being optimistic to the death. That's being faithful to the death. So when you can take it to that level, you truly believe in what you say you believe in, and it's not just talk. She said, if I die, I die. If I perish, I perish. I mean, it's almost like it is what it is, you know? But we're not going to fold. We're going to trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to where we believe him. We don't hold the cards to the outcome of any of these things. This is Mark 5:25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years and had suffered many things of many physicians and had spent all that she had and was not bettered, but rather grew worse. When she had heard of Yahushua, came in the press behind and touched his garment. Now, just thinking about this, if you think about it, everything, nothing else worked. So that showed you that the scenario and situation she was in, she had no choice but to be optimistic. Everything else failed, and she was probably optimistic to those situations as well. She was believing that what she was going to try, because she spent all her money. This may work. This might work. This might work. But she never lost sight of trying to be made whole, because she had a problem. She never got down to where like, woe is me. Pretty sure she had moments, but she like, okay, well, just think about this. If you could go through something and what you see before you, physical physicians whose trade is, their trade is to basically make you whole. And it didn't work. So how optimistic and faithful was this woman to just say, if only I could touch him? That's true optimism, and that's faith. Okay? For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. Now you went from seeing the physical side. That's what's crazy. Like, it's like going to a doctor today and let's say it's the best surgeon or whatever you have on this planet. It's the best. And what they do can't work. You would lose all sight of hope then, because it's like, this is the best of the best. It gets no better than these people. And now if someone comes along and you say, if I could just touch him, touch his clothing, that's some faith. That's very faithful, and that's very strong-minded. Okay? And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. And Yahushua, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes? And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? And he looked round about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him the truth. And he said unto her, daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague. That's something, to just believe like that, you know. But that's the mind frame that we should have in our power and the only power. That's Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Okay? That don't say shalom.